Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk all about the power of color in your brand. So if we have not met yet, my name is Melissa. I run a brand design studio by day and a handmade product business by night. I've been a designer for over 20 years now, and over that time, I have designed dozens of brands, maybe even hundreds at this point. And everyone seems to think the logo is this really important piece of the puzzle, which it is, but color might be even more important. You see, color is this wildly powerful and underrated element in your brand toolkit. It is super powerful for two reasons. First, it communicates incredibly quickly at a subconscious emotional level. And second, it is one of the easiest ways to differentiate your business from your competitors. Let's chat briefly about both of these. First, color communicates subconsciously at an emotional level. Color is processed by your subconscious faster than words or symbols can be processed. It's like it pulls in that lizard brain that Seth Godin likes to talk about. That means color has the power to imbue meaning very, very quickly. The fact is that color does the emotional work before your messaging ever can. However, that means a color mismatch might cause havoc in your brand. So, an example from my own life, a few blocks south of my house, I'm driving around and there is this senior living care community. But I have drove past this dozens of times, and their logo is red and blue. And if I recall, it has stars in it. I have thought for the longest time that this senior care community was a med station because red, blue, stars, these don't communicate warmth, hominess. I want to bring my mom or my grandma to come live here. They look like an emergency center or some sort of patriotic center or something. So this always stands out in my mind as a wonderful use case of if they even didn't change the logo but changed the colors, it would probably leave a completely different impression for their business. The fact is that color works before anything else has time to. Then let's talk about how color has the power to differentiate you. Most people identify brands by color. It happens so quickly in their mind. Just think about Target and the classic Target red. I don't know about you, but I can identify a Target commercial before I've ever seen the logo. They use their red so strategically throughout every piece of their marketing material. When you see a commercial or an ad or a billboard and there's all this red popping up, you just know before you even see the logo that it's Target. You see, color is not decoration, it is positioning. Color is a shortcut to recognition and differentiation. So I've got 4 tips for you for how to use color in a powerful way for your brand. First and foremost, you have got to choose colors that are authentic to you. If you're trying to communicate one type of value, but then when someone actually interacts with you or looks into you further, they're experiencing something entirely different, you've got a mismatch there. Kind of back to the senior care community example I gave. Senior care communities should be all about love and compassion and empathy and warmth and hominess. Red, white, and blue, as much as I love the United States, does not communicate those things. Likewise, you need to avoid choosing colors based on personal preferences of the leadership of your organization or trends. Yeah, you want to keep an eye on trends, but don't choose your color palette specifically because of trends. You need to choose your colors based on your authentic brand personality. You also want to consider color theory, but now don't be too heavy-handed here. I'm going to let you research color theory separately, or maybe I'll do another video on it in a future date. But there are certain colors that easily tie to certain concepts. But here's the thing. Because these are known and publicized everywhere, they're overused, and probably your competitor is already using like the most obvious low-hanging fruit selection. So keep an eye on it, but don't let it drive everything. It may be a matter of weaving some of this color theory in as like a secondary color palette, but choosing something much more recognizable for your core color. Okay, second, you want to be careful of using too many colors, too broad of a color palette, unless you've got a very clearly defined hierarchy or strategy to how you're going to use those colors. Here's what I'm talking about. Like if you had a 5 or a 6 color palette, it's really hard to know what ones should be emphasized within that system. Now, for some businesses, it does make sense, and maybe it's even a way to stand out by having this broader color system. But if you used all 5 or 6 shades equally, it's hard to then associate your brand with any one color. So there needs to be a strategy about which colors are your primary colors, which ones are your secondary colors, and how those are used and mixed together. Unless you're prepared to do that strategic work, try to stick to a slightly slimmer color profile, anywhere from 1 or 2 colors to maybe 4 max. Getting past that, you really need to have a bit more strategy for how you're gonna use that palette. Third, research your competitors' color palettes and avoid using the same palette. Now, this does not mean that you can't maybe use a piece of their palette, but do not duplicate their palette. Make sure that it is far enough away that you clearly look like a different organization, that there isn't confusion between you and those competitors. Finally, don't be afraid to make a bold choice. Choosing bold colors, well, yes, it takes confidence, it takes boldness, but those are the things that can help you stand out in your market. And by standing out in the market, it makes your customers stop and think, what's different about them than, someone else they might be researching, another one of your competitors. All right, so tell me, do you think your current colors are accurately representing your brand? If not, what do you think you might be able to change? Is there anything you took away from this video that you think might be able to help you make improvement in your brand? And if you're kind of confused, maybe what I'm talking about branding, if maybe this feels like a slightly different way to look at branding, make sure to check out the video I just launched a couple weeks ago talking about overall what is branding for your business. Now, this is a video I designed specifically for business owners, not for designers. So definitely go check that out. And if you've liked this video, make sure to subscribe for more design, small business, branding related content. See you in the next one.